The Nexus bar on Titan Station was neutral ground, a place where soldiers from 100 worlds could drink, gamble, and forget the war for a few hours. The unwritten rule was simple: no fights. The station's peacekeepers enforced it with neural suppressors that could drop any species in seconds. Lieutenant Jake Morrison sat at the bar, nursing a beer that tasted almost like the real thing. 3 months into humanity's probationary membership in the Galactic Alliance, and he was already tired of the stares. Every species sizing up the newcomers, wondering if the hairless apes were worth the Alliance slot. Is this seat taken, human? Jake glanced up. A Gorvok warrior loomed over him, 8 feet tall, covered in natural armor plating, 4 arms thick as tree trunks. The translator couldn't hide the contempt in his voice. All yours, Jake said, turning back to his drink. The Gorvok, warrior Primefrock, had served the Alliance for 50 cycles. He'd conquered worlds, crushed rebellions, earned glory across the galaxy. And now they expected him to serve alongside these humans? His commanding officers said humans were deceptively capable. Throck saw only soft skin and weak frames. You are the human special forces, Throck said, not a question. The ones they call SEALs. SEALs, Jake corrected quietly. Sea, air, and land. Throck's mandibles clicked in amusement. Such primitive environments. The Gorvok train in the volcanic hell capes of Mortax, in gravity wells that would crush your bones. He leaned closer. Tell me, little seal, what makes you think you can stand beside true warriors? Jake set down his beer. I don't think anything. I know. The bar grew quiet. Other patrons sensed the tension, began backing away. Throck's primary right arm moved fast, by Gorvok standards. An open-handed strike meant to humiliate, to knock the human from his seat. On his homeworld, it was how superiors disciplined inferiors. The slap never connected. Jake's hand intercepted Throck's wrist. To the watching crowd, the human hadn't seemed to move at all. One moment he was lifting his beer, the next he had stopped a blow that could shatter concrete. One, Jake said calmly. Throck's secondary arms reached for Jake. The human's free hand blurred, striking nerve clusters with surgical precision. Both arms went limp. 2. Throck roared, bringing his massive head down in a crushing headbutt. Jake shifted minutely, letting the Gorvok's momentum carry him forward while driving an elbow into what his briefings had identified as a critical pressure point. 3. Throck collapsed to his knees, his neural system overloaded, muscle spasming. The entire exchange had taken 3 seconds. Jake knelt beside the gasping Gorvok. "Want to know what makes us special forces? It's not our strength. You're stronger. It's not our speed. Others are faster." He kept his voice low, conversational. "It's that we study. Every species in this alliance, we know your anatomy. To echo patterns, building a mental map." His captor's second mistake, underestimating human pattern recognition. He moved through the station like a ghost. When patrols came, he eliminated them. When he needed access codes, he extracted them. The Empire had never faced a human special operator. They didn't understand persistence hunting applied to combat, how a human could maintain peak performance for hours, days if needed. How they could ignore pain, push through exhaustion, adapt to any environment. By the time Marcus reached the communication center, he'd left 37 Imperial soldiers incapacitated or dead. He uploaded his real mission data, the Empire's fleet positions, their supply lines, their weaknesses to Earth Command. As reinforcements flooded the station, Marcus activated his beacon. The Empire thought they'd captured a lone soldier. They didn't know about the cloaked human warship waiting just beyond sensor range. They didn't know this was a rescue mission. Not for Marcus, but for the intelligence he'd gathered. The extraction took 4 minutes. By then, half the station was in chaos. Later, in the debriefing, they asked Marcus about his time in custody. "Good training opportunity," he said simply. "Their interrogation techniques need work. The Galactic Empire would learn to fear humans. Not for their technology or their numbers, but for soldiers like Marcus Chin. For the ones who could turn capture into victory, who saw torture as training, who brought war to an art form the galaxy had never imagined. They thought they'd arrested a human soldier. They'd caged a SEAL.